After the terrifying events of the last video, the trio wake up and realize they're in a bizarre and nightmarish world they're about to explore. Until Zero's eyes attack 3 and multiplies, causing them to drown. They fell down standing on an eye, then a dancing eye traps them in chairs, taking them on a ride set to a classic pop song cover. The trio crashes into the abyss and lands into a familiar looking void. Mario desperately tries to escape but stumbles upon a diamond block and yellow spear. The block floats, telling them to jump under the maroon square, and a montage of weird and wacky areas ensue.
It seems today that all you see is violence.
Afterwards, they find Koridai's #1 shopkeeper, who puts 3 and 4's hands together, turning into an orb, and flies into a block and spear, which turn out to be 1 and 2, who happen to be mean guardians themselves. The duo have been guiding him out of Zero's mind and ask 3 and 4 to go through the portal by holding hands, giving Snowtrap a run for its money, and concentrate to build a bridge with memes and scene reminiscent of Mario's Space Adventure on Wii. They cross the bridge and escape into 3's USB core. They all wake up for real, but still had to exit the pod. The way to do that is to channel the power source energy into their avatar. 4 and 3 do just that, causing Mario to grow, but it backfires due to their power being unbalanced, making them exit to drive, but with the plumber passed out and in a fit of bad timing, they notice Axel with a Zero as Mario grasps with the other pods in alignment.
This might not end well.
8 out of 10. What an acid trip this episode is. Seriously. The thumbnail wasn't shy telling us crazy stuff would show up. I like the themes and other world purgatory and dimensional weirdness, the SpongeBob and Super Mario Galaxy references, and I haven't forgot the use of "You Spin Me Right Round," which none of us were expecting considering their history with copyright music that came to bit them recently by blocking certain videos for a good period of time. They're doing their best not to make this adventure forgettable, and it sure is paying off with their mindset of avoiding a very similar content. But it's not over yet. Let's see how our group of paisanos will get out of this one. The SMGs all look up in horror as Axel's about to fulfill his plan to take over the universe. Mario is sealed into a crystal, but the guards and the gang, who apparently got out of the bunker, arrive and attack a helicopter, blasting the demon. This gives 4 and 3 time to hide Mario in the castle, while the others take down the monster. 4 tries to protect the avatar. Axel barges in every room, but gets distracted with a funny Axolotl video glitchy play to escape. He gets caught, so he opens the chest, but gets shot by 3. Then they get strangled by prompting the gang to counterattack, especially Manly, who tries to bring back their friend. They manage to pin him down for an opening to smite him, but it becomes a fluke due to Manly having a vision of Axel making her hesitant. The SMGs aim their pods at the virus and zap in an attempt to seal him away again. But he gets a hold of Melanie, warping her into Zero's brain. She finds the real Axel chained up and tries to get him out, but he tells her to reach for the notebook in his pocket. Opening it, she reads his manga, finally knowing about his crush. He thanks her as he's dragged away, so Melanie chases after him but wakes up in reality with the book. Axel grows too powerful to be sealed, stopping the SMGs, and takes the pods along with Mario to extract all the meme energy to create another universe with its own avatar. In order to restore his own way of life, with everyone in chains, and the virus transforming into its final form, the SMG4 universe is on its last legs, and their fate will be decided in the next episode. "10 out of 10, absolutely gut-wrenching. It's all entertainment from start to finish. Heavy doses of action, drama, and horror, while not abandoning comedy. The pacing is neat, Giamatti is quirky as usual, but decently stylized. I find the actor clip funny as once again, it took okay for few jokes to show up and contrary to popular belief. It doesn't clash or overtake the mood of the entire episode. I also admire the group's teamwork facing F-Zero, but my absolute favorite part is Melanie facing an imprisoned Axel. It's cool to see that guy didn't want to leave his girl empty-handed. If something were to happen, how long would this pairing last though? Well, it's just right around the corner for me to talk about the closing of this epic misadventure.
It's time.
We send off the Genesis arc with the special anniversary edition of War of the Fat Italians. Zero is transferring all the universe inhabitants into his new realm as the group looks up in terror. Swag foolishly attempts to distract him through an insult, causing him and Chris to be flung away. I'm sure they fight once this is over. The monster grabs 1 and 2, urging 3 and 4 to fight back using the powers, bringing them back to safety. This gives them time to escape to the canyon and launch themselves into the portal to search for Mario. While the duo fend the virus off inside the wormhole, an orb appears warping around into a seemingly normal version of the kingdom. He sees Mario supposedly safe and sound, but a tweet by FM appears challenging them to open backup ships. Glitchy does this unsurprisingly seamlessly, causing the plummet to evaporate. In actuality, Mario's Crystal is creating portals for competitions with clones. So it's up to the game to win most of them in order to take back their friends and save the world. We're then treated with the following challenges: stealing Steve's pet chicken, impersonating Luigi with Luigi himself, waking up mentally, surviving 5 minutes on Twitter. The trick to do that is not using it, or it better yet follow tons of artists, especially those ones if you know what I'm talking about. Tricking Monitor in committing a crime. Avoiding NSFW online. Don't bother trying, it's inevitable. Posting Eggman's nudes.
Posted my nudes on Twitter.com!
Beating Psycho's Guitar Hero high score. Being nice to Luigi. Beating Belly in the speedrun.
Luigi, oh yeah.
What is this? What is this? What is my life?
I did it.
Pressing the nut button the hardest. Creating the strongest password. Hiding in an IKEA for the longest time. Winning against Sonic in a foot race. And finally, acquiring a discard mod roll. Having survived the challenges, they find their avatar trapped in a force field and briefly witness Zero's true form. He creates a giant shadow clone of Mario, causing him to panic. Then Manly chimes in, telling them saving their friends means a lot more than just the universe. Motivated, everyone engages in the final battle set to an amazing number. Listen to it in your own time and determine for yourself if it's a brilliant piece. During the fight, 1 and 2 appear and Mario is free from the Zero's wrath, ready to join in. Chock full of meme energy after the song, Melanie re-enters Zero's mind, seeing Axel more tied up than ever. She tries to cut off the chains, but he tells her the bad news. He's far from saying the others are running out of time, so there's only one way out. This shocks and saddens the Fruit Girl, and he tries to comfort her. As a goodbye, she shows her the finished page of his manga, confessing her affection and share their one and only kiss. Tearing up, Axel thanks Melanie for the good times they had. Then she delivers the final blow.
Thank you for the adventure.
With its core gone, Zero is ultimately destroyed. The SMG universe goes back to normal, and the gang celebrates their victory. However, the triumph is short-lived after Maggie asks where Axel is, causing Melanie to burst into tears. Days later, Melanie resides at her lover's old apartment, drawing, and the others arrive to check up on her. Maggie especially due to her similar experience. 1 and 2 and 3 showed up to tell them the goodness that has happened since. The university has been locked up, the mean life cycle is once again stable. It could be the mission all they have to do is conceal the Guardian parts far away from the wrong hands. They think the two Guardians are wishing goodbyes, but not without reading the true meaning of SMG. This whole time the name acronym is not Super Mario Glitchy, but rather unexpectedly, Superman Guardian. They leave the apartment and 3 is about to depart as well, following his calling to protect the life cycle and wishes for the best. In the few after 10 long years. Then the group talks about how Axel helped them when he was around and they're happy his sacrifice saved their home. Melanie agrees, saying he wants what's best for them by living their lives to the fullest. And she's been finishing 2 pieces while becoming an artist herself in this memory. The gang collaborated on ideas for the manga, knowing they will go on a misadventures another day.
Okay, that was pretty good.
9.5 out of 10. This is one of the videos that I will near and dear to my heart. A bunch of entertaining challenges, a well-written and composed song, which admittedly is a rap battle name only, and the soul-crushing but heartwarming final act at the top of the ending, the biggest adventure of our lovely group of idiots I ever had. This keeps up the wealthy tradition while doing its own spin on things, since Mario still competed against Glitchy but with her friends. You can argue about their points and ideas as a couple all you want, but there's no denying Axel and Melanie's relationship does hold a bit emotional weight, since their screen time was mostly will they or won't they, which might be one of the most tragic forms of romance the more you think about it. I said this before and I'll keep saying it until it goes through someone's head. There's no use gatekeeping generals if a show wants to know for more than its initial cost. Surely you've been seeing this happening in real shows and movies before. Why couldn't web videos join in on the fun and to become art? More on that later. This little thing doesn't bug me as much as others have, but it was worth mentioning. It is weird that SMG stands for Superman Guardian. Now, whereas we knew it as Super Mario Glitchy for years. On the other hand, it still stays true to this name on the channel. And hey, nothing's stopping you from calling it Super Mario Glitchy 4 in spirit. Congratulations to whoever got their suggestions and everyone who worked on this amazing special. In fact, we should have been thanking you guys for adventure. To my viewers, it's time to talk about my feelings, the story, and for what is provided for the consensus of the show. Well, this arc surely made its mark in SMG4's history. Let me start out by saying this hot take. This story is so far my new favorite of the arcs, overtaking that one that started off, the Waluigi arc. You might know why I consider it a hot take. A lot of viewers hold the first one in high regard because according to some of them, it didn't take itself seriously. That pretty much speaks for itself. The problem with this statement is part of the crowd doesn't care for a serious moment despite the story not being free of such things, since the final videos have a degree of an epic narrative. It's been 3 years since this aspect was introduced in the show, and they refuse to get used to it or at least respect the work while abstaining from the arcs altogether. I can understand if epic stuff ain't your thing and you prefer pure comedy. And don't get me wrong, comedy shows can be perfectly fine committing to one genre, but you have to remember, not all of them will keep that promise on even making it in the first place. What I'm saying is there's no excuse to ruin the appeal of something a majority loves by making them unwatchable or anything, because it exposes prejudice and leads to hostility during a discussion of the subject, and no one can take the argument seriously. If the people in question are being respectful, believe me, since this issue has plagued with the SMG4 community and other pieces of media in recent years, and I'm still dealing with a couple of bad actors to this day, all over the standards they've set for themselves that might not matter or exist. Somehow, the human race was given a pass to ridicule great artists regardless of their intention, and humanity which is disheartening to see. Basically, to guys who know who they are.
You don't give a shit, and I've been sitting around getting sick of your attitude!
But that's the topic I saved for the year-end discussion. Right now, it's back to the Genesis arc. A common complaint about these arcs is the length. Being a weekly series, these have to come out in segments, so they usually span a few months. For the most part, they're pretty linear with their progression, but the Genesis switch up with things. According to the official playlist, it began with a perfectly balanced, and followed with SMG4's origins. Then came the anniversary movie, adding to the uniquenesses. What some viewers don't know is that there are filler episodes that contain key events and references to stories such as Stupid Mario, where they grab tickets, and the anime video where Axel's wing was repaired, but these are left out of the playlist. Not to mention, Mega's Vacation has its own timeline of events, meaning a full spin of is part of the story too. It's no brainer this arc is a record breaker for how much content it has. And they have taken some breaks telling the story they want in between, since there are a bunch of videos you can't watch individually. This might be their way of addressing the issue moving forward, though that might not be the case due to how unpredictable the showrunners are. In fact, remember where fans were predicting this will be the show's swan song, and they're about to move on with a reboot with 3 recent characters? Wasn't that fun? I'm pretty sure this ties into the DMCA skit in What If? No doubt having some inspiration from other channels. But guys like me who are confident SMG4 will continue as is while not ignoring possibility of change. I myself believe this story will be the turning point for a new era of the series. In some ways, that might be true, or more metaphorical than I thought, considering the videos are still the same as the writing in this discussion. No matter what others will try to tell you, the Genesis arc was a great way to celebrate the decade milestone of the show, and the package has what fans throughout the years to love about it. Absurd and hilarious jokes, weird but charismatic characters, historical throwbacks, and adventure that feels larger than life. Although it's heavily debated whether this content is truly something anyone can enjoy. But I was skeptical about the retroactive continuity for the show's beginning. However, when you think about the various video game and movie franchises that attempt stuff like this, SMG4's own comparison is actually pretty tame and a lot easier to understand if you study it, that is. Basically, the series will always be comedy, so it's glorious as a simplified version of complex mythology if you find itself elsewhere. It all lies within their intent to make the best videos possible and bring new life in the series to keep it going for both old and new fans. I believe the brothers have taken the time to learn from past stories and take criticism in stride. Why do I say this? Well, knowing this story and another character's death, they found a way to prove upon the impact of this event involving a main character with strong emotions this time. But it's rather fortunate that we don't get to see any more from Axel, a guy who stood for creativity, due to him only making a couple of major appearances within 2 years. But I assure you, this Infinity won't be forgotten. Plus, there's still guys who complain about People getting emotional over comedy, disregarding the message that anyone can lose important figures in their lives and can find fiction relatable. That's not to say there aren't any nut jobs, because of course there are, and it does hurt to look at. But to dismiss another feelings over a piece of media they love makes you look like an entitled prick. I, for one, commend the team's efforts to make the Genesis art feasibly enjoyable as it is, and they deserve more respect than what they're getting. Believe it or not, it's possible for artists to admit mistakes in their line of work. Luke and James has said on record the story isn't finished, suggesting it might have been too big to complete in one go, and plan to finish it later. There's still stuff they haven't tackled, like Zero's backstory and the truth behind Sputnik's great adventure, which they're likely saving for next year or later down the line. I imagine all this would be hard to top, so it might be a safe to bet on working on smaller stories, like the Robert Barb arc, for the time being, and save the big guns when they're ready, especially for the eventual SMG4 finale. Keep in mind, not all this is backed by speculation, because I know this channel long enough to figure out where they're heading. For now, let's just relax and go back to basics. The anniversary is not over yet. We still got a couple videos to tackle this year, and it's time to cover this month's final video. Genesis Epilogue has SMG4 in the game preparing a backyard barbecue to settle down after the momentous undertaking. Well, almost everyone since Mario and Bob are in a preschool pen under Ford's orders, knowing how much trouble they could cause, and they are only allowed to play with plushies. Luigi guards the two while Bleachy and Psycho head out to get more supplies. Maggie watches Tari slowly cook a steak because we own it to this guy.
You can't rush art.
Bookins and Melanie are cutting potatoes, and it isn't hard to see what could possibly go wrong once she sees the watermelon. Maggie grows tired of Tari's slow cooking and hires Pyro to speed it up, making it way past well done. They ask Melanie for another piece of meat, but she takes a good look at the fruit salad. Weird how they just know she acts up around sliced goods, considering no one's forgotten what she used to be. Bob and Mario desperately distract his brother and finally deduce something by tricking him into seeing a muscle man whose name could be Mitch. In retaliation, he transforms into a tank and chases after them. The madness peaks when Maggie and Melanie begin a sword fight, cutting Tari's arm in the process, and the two children jump into the food. Ford and Psycho come back home believing their friends have matured over time, but are greeted with a mess in the courtyard. Bleachy snaps and is disappointed that they ruined the barbecue, but has a change of heart, except that this would happen anyway because of who they are, and they start rebuilding. While the Bassinos are partying the night away, Melanie reminisces about their fallen friend, and Megan reminds her where they are now will be enough to satisfy them. And yes, that includes the scatterbrained plumber's hijinks, a big driving force of their journey, which shows no sign of stopping anytime soon. 9 out of 10, as suspected from a post-arc episode, will return to a simple but chaotically fun videos, and that's what one is. A chillin' and grillin' type of episode. The theme really fits if you recognize this uploaded days after Summit here in the States. I love the character interactions, jokes, and continuity of the previous events, and it presents its purpose while telling there's more of it to come. Whether you like it or not, nice work, Glitch. We can wait what you have in store for this wacky but charming universe. Looks like that's it for the lengthy Bazaar and Mario discussions this year. We'll still be making sure the integrity of creators stays intact. I can't thank you enough if you took time out of your day to hear me out, since there needs to be more reasonable discussion regarding media, whether it's official, fan-made, and whatnot. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and check out my other videos if you're new here. Take care of yourselves, and as always, peace out.